Mexico broke the glass ceiling last week, electing its first ever all-female House delegation to Congress.
Okay, not only all women of color. Joining us now, one of them, Congresswoman-elect Teresa Leger Fernandez. And look at that smiling face, ma'am. It's so good to have you here. And I want to start with with Ahora es cuando. That is your campaign slogan, essentially, that you got from your dad, saying the time, essentially translates to the time is now. Why is the time now, and that we're seeing something like this history-making take place in New Mexico?
Well, that was my slogan. It came out of an idea that my campaign was based on the idea that we need to protect what we love, right? That all these things we love, from our beautiful planet to our health care to our future if we don't invest in education, to this beautiful place we call home, was under attack. And so my thing was, we need to act to protect what we love, because when you love something, you not only want to protect it from harm, you want to make it thrive. And that this was a moment where, you know, our democracy was at risk, so much was at risk that it had to be ahora es cuando. It's time now to take this wonderful action. And it turned out that it was all women who won in our election on Tuesday, all women of color.
Well, congratulations to you, Congresswoman-elect. And I know one of the things that you are really interested in pushing from the beginning is COVID-19 relief. Your district includes a large portion of the Navajo Nation and other communities that have been very hard hit by COVID-19. So specifically, how do you hope to help those who need help the most right now?
So I've dedicated about 3 decades of my life to working alongside Native American communities and tribes in rural areas, building things like rural health clinics. And what we know is that these communities are incredibly vibrant, culturally vibrant, they're sovereigns. But what's also true is that the United States has failed to live up to their obligations to them. They failed to fund the Indian Health Service, to fund basic infrastructure. And so what we need to do is actually make sure that we provide that funding. That was a solemn promise of the United States to the Native American tribes, that we will provide this funding in exchange for all the land that we now occupy and use. This last bill, this administration didn't even get to the tribes the funding that had been appropriated. So we're going to change that, and we're going to say, let's fully fund the Indian Health Service. Let's fully fund the infrastructure. Let's make sure we get broadband, because not just for Native American communities, but for communities across our country, they don't have broadband. What do you do without broadband when you need both telehealth, information, and be able to go to school in a pandemic? So we're going to really push to make sure we fund those. We fund those in the recovery bills that we're going to be looking at. And it just needs to be a focus. There are a lot of more Native Americans going to Congress. I have this long experience. The nation has opened its eyes to this problem, so hopefully we'll do better.
Well, ma'am, Roback and I have joked in the past couple of days, and we're talking to people who are going to Congress for the first time. They come here, they have big smiles on their faces, they're enthusiastic, they're optimistic, they use words like change. And we say, wow, we should check in a year and see how they're doing after being in Washington. I wonder what you think about what you're stepping into in D.C., given where we are, how split the country has been, given some of the issues we've had, and also we are very much a divided country, and now a country that has a president that a lot of people are waiting to concede an election. What do you think you're stepping into in D.C. right now?
Well, we're stepping into a D.C. that, we'll be honest, we didn't think it was going to be what we thought on Monday, right? That the Democrats might have taken over the Senate. We don't know that answer yet. But what we do know is that when I talk to my constituents, they want to see results on things like infrastructure. There is overwhelming support to support access to health care, that it be affordable, that it be accessible, and that be available in your own communities. And so there are things that, if we leave the name calling aside, we leave the idea that we're divisive and say, what are the things that we are united on, and focus on that.
We certainly hope that power of positivity is effective. We know that that smile certainly has lifted our spirits today. Representative-elect Teresa Leger Fernandez, thank you so much for your time, and we wish you the very best.
Thank you so very much, and thank you for coming to Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Love it. You do. That feels good. And again, I don't want to be that cynic, and we'll check in a year, and hopefully that's still there.
I think that's a good plan.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.